Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Greatly Grant channel. In this channel, we are talking about the UAG grant updates and information, and also we are also going to be updating you on the TOBAT and IMF and other grant informations. If you are new on this channel, consider subscribing so that when next we publish our next video, you will be kindly notified. Thank you once again for having me on Greatly channel. Bye for now.
We have on the platform Pastor Donald, who is out in response to a particular write-up from one PON who has said a lot of things right in his write-up, and becomes very vital for there to be a response regarding the disbursement claim and some personalities involved. I wanted to pay attention to this and hear what Pastor Donald says on this wise. You might also want to have a bit of a comment so that we can rub minds together as we expect our disbursement. Thank you very much, Pastor Donald. Your time now.
I am doing this to protect people under us, for them to know the money that is coming in, it is humanitarian fund meant for self-empowerment, civil empowerment, social empowerment, and every other thing that is to promote humanitarian good. Good afternoon, honorable ladies and gentlemen of the grant community. This is coming from Pastor Donald Obasi Okorie, the DG of the Truth Legacy platform. It is very important that I will be able to reach out to the grant community today, being the 8th day of February 2026. Today is Sunday, 8th February 2026. There are things that have become a necessity that we should address them. I am somebody that decided to stand for the truth in the grant community to the end. I am not going to, in any area, hide anything that is called truth from my followers and from the entire grant community. There is a write-up that is provocative, deceptive, maligned, uninformed, biased, and self-promoting. The write-up comes from somebody that once led the campaign of the grant community, which was signed by the name there, PON, which all of us know who PON is, Pawn. We know who the man is. This is one of them that have played a strong role at the forefront when UAG started. But I am not going to go into that because I don't have any issue with UAG or Sanctuary Wealth. I don't have any issue there. Till tomorrow, I am a supporter of Apostle Professor Ken Wakama. I'm a supporter of UAG Sanctuary Wealth because of truth surrounding the whole scenario. But in this matter, that this man, PON, that is what he called himself in his write-up, you come out and say Nobody traveled, nobody is coming. Please, sir, stop the deception, stop the bias. There is one thing I do, and I think it is something that is worthy of emulation. I am not saying it that I do it, because I do it. When I see truth, I go for it. I don't become biased about truth. I don't. I cannot, because maybe assuming that I am not part of the people that coordinated Pioneer, working under the stakeholders as regards this project, then I'll begin to castigate their claims. See, in law, when you want to prove somebody false, when you want to prove somebody wrong, you come with evidence. You come with a proof that merits your claim. I want to begin to dismantle all those things that you have written. Number one, you are one of the people that said there is grant. There is grant. Now, for long now, nobody knows that grant you said is available, that people invested money into. There is no anything about that grant that has become a vital reality at the moment. And you have remained silent. Listen, let me tell you. It is only because somebody like Apostle Ken is involved, who has chosen to stand for the grand community and for the masses. If it was like somebody like you, we would have been able to tell you that you don't rub pepper on the eyes without crying. You don't rub pepper on the eyes without crying. Why some of us are silent is because there is a noble man standing in the gap who wants peace, who wants truth, and he is following that truth until there is a delivery, of the testimony. You made mention of issues that have to do that the people should keep silent. If they don't know what they are saying, they should keep silent. Now, look at how you are just making yourself a thing of mockery. Coming out at this very point in time to launch out an attack. What is the wisdom in it? It is an act of, what will I call, because I won't sound insolent at all. It is an act of ignorance. I won't say it is act of stupidity, no. It is an act of ignorance. There are things that you don't know. And if I were you, instead of being an opposition that wants to die in opposition, what you would have done is to be able to do consultations that are stronger, deeper, and higher than whatever thing you have done in the past. That is how people move forward. You do consultations that will take you deeper and deeper and deeper. When you come out from your consultation, you'll be able to tell yourself that this thing is real. Now, you said, who has ever done any project on individual basis? And you forgot that there is something called non-governmental organization. There is also something called philanthropy, from where we derive philanthropist. A philanthropist can have an institution that is an NGO. A philanthropist can also operate as a single person. And you are talking about how can people build road, an individual build road. It is only government that will do it. Oh my God. Chai, my brother, it would have been very, very important that when you were doing this type of write-up, you have a rethink before you come out to show people some issues that are supposed not to come to the public. Now, I am going to use the United Nations framework, the right to association, the legal catch, which is national sovereignty, domestic laws, registered legal entity, regulatory compliance, national interest clause. All these things I'm mentioning, they are under the legal catch, that is under the national sovereignty, together with the charters of United Nations in matters like this. Number 3 thing I'm going to touch is the philanthropic ethics, the do no harm principle. These are things maybe you need to go and research about. And I'm going to take time to talk about these things, and then I will round it up. Number 1, the UN framework, the right to association. The United Nations does not have a single charter that is designed institutionally for NGOs, but there are carved departments that have these charters, like the ECOSOC Resolution 1996/31, United Nations Declaration on Human Rights Defenders 1998. Go and read about all these things. ECOSOC Resolution 1996/31. Go and put it on the internet. It is going to bring out information for you, because there is need for this education. United Nations Declaration on Human Rights Defenders. I am talking about the human rights defenders. As I go on in this, there will be clarity. I am not doing this to insult, but I am doing it to protect the people following me, following Ambassador Zita, following Madam Ngozi Israel. We cannot allow people following us to be misled. I also know that there are lawyers equally. I am not the only person that studied law and international law and diplomacy. There are other lawyers. If what I am saying is not constitutional, is not legal, then they will be able to rise up and counter what I am saying. Under this ECOSOC and UN Declaration, ECOSOC 1996/31, United Nations Declaration on Human Rights Defenders 1998, the right to act. According to Article 1 of the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights Defenders, everyone has the right, everyone, no exemption. Everyone has the right, individually and in association with others, to promote and to strive for the protection and realization of human rights and fundamental freedoms at the national and international levels. This is a global practice. The power of philanthropy. This means that as an individual or an NGO, you have the inherent right to carry out human development, health, education, poverty alleviation, and the rest of them. Because these are considered, listen carefully, these gestures are considered fundamental human rights. Government doesn't cast dice. Government doesn't interfere in matters like this. You do not need permission. That is what the law is saying, from the government to want to help. There are necessary, what do we call it? There is a reason why we have things like social organization, civil organization, services, networks, and things of that nature. Government sees at the powerhouse to control security matters and other things, administration of the state and things of that nature. Government can never, even in America, government has never in any area remained the one carrying out every necessary things that is meant for the citizens and for the society. There are people who make money and they come back to give back to the society. For instance, there was a time MTN, Airtel, Glo, and others, they adopted some rules in Nigeria some years back. If you are current, you'll be able to know about what I'm saying. Trunk A rules, that is federal government rules. These organizations adopted them. Federal government had a deal with them and told them the quality of road they had to do. Some of these roads were done both in Lagos and in some other parts of Nigeria by these organizations, giving back to the society. It is part of respecting fundamental human rights. You don't need permissions to do all these things because you want to help. Now listen, the UN views civil society as a necessary partner to the state, not a subordinate. Not a subordinate, necessary partner. That is the way the United Nations views the civil society, as necessary partner. Go and study about that. Number 2, there is something we call the legal catch, that is national sovereignty. Pay attention to this. Why the UN gives the ethical right, international law also respects the sovereignty of states. Let's look at some of the things in Article 2 of this. Domestic laws in almost every country, including Nigeria, under the Companies and the Allied Matters Act, that is CAMA. An NGO or philanthropist must be a registered legal entity to sign contracts, buy land, or hire staff. You don't just get up and begin to do some certain things. Regulatory compliance is very, very important. National interest, all those things. Okay, let me say a little thing about the national interest. Most governments reserve the right to stop a project if they deem it a threat to security or public order. However, they cannot legally stop a purely humanitarian project simply because they didn't start it. Now, Mr. Bon, I want you to underscore this. Go and consult some lawyers you know about what I just said now. There is no anywhere except such a government wants to provoke and promote what we call humanitarian crisis, which is also a civil crime against humanity. As far as your government is people-oriented and people-driven, they cannot oppose an individual implementing community development project. The only thing is that you must seek for government approval, like regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance. Let me say a little thing there. Why you don't have to wait for the government to start a project, you must comply with local regulations. It's very important. For instance, somebody building a school, you must have permit from the government. You can't just go and build a school and then there is no permit. You are building hospital, there should be medical licenses issued for you to be able to build such a clinic or hospital, or environmental impact assessment for civil works. These are things that are very, very important that you have to do. You have to do. So let's look at the last thing so that I can round it up. Philanthropic ethics. The do no harm principle. Ethically, the World Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, WANGO, Code of Conduct suggests, number 1, autonomy. An NGO should maintain its independence. You are not an arm of the government. You are a private entity serving the public good. Number 2, cooperation versus approval. Ethics dictate that you should inform the local government of your projects to avoid what? Duplication of effort, wastage of resources. When a project is duplicated, it is a waste of resources. It is a waste of economy. So this is one of the reasons you consult your local government to be able to know this project I want to bring in, is it already running in this particular locality? I want to site it, or I want to carry it out. Is it already going on there? Is there any plan? If the government has any plan, concerning that, you can tell them, please divert the fund to another meaningful thing. I want to take it up. That is the way things are done. So this is an important an important part. Cooperation versus approval. Ethics dictate that you should inform the local government of your projects to avoid duplication of effort, but you do not necessarily need their funding or political approval to proceed with private funds. This is about NGOs. This is about philanthropies. You are not trying to go into government budget. You are not depending on what the government has budgeted for. That is why we are called non-governmental organization. A philanthropist does not depend on the public tax to do what he does. He depends on the money he has generated either from his business or from his partners who are in the same vision he is working with or he is running with. That is the way it is. The next thing I want to talk about under this is sustainability. It is considered unethical to build a civil development like a water dam and all those things, hospital, school, and then abandon it without a plan for